the fruit, and it's very yum when I eat it with uh milk.
Yum, that sounds delicious. Lucky you. I haven't had my breakfast yet, but now I'm in the mood for cereal. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and start our lesson today. Can you please read the class rules for me? Let's go for Kwang Ming. Oops, where did Kwang Ming go? Kwang Ming, go ahead.
Find a quiet place to work. Be prepared. Mute and video on. Be on time. Raise your hand. Don't talk when others are talking. Eat before or after Zoom. Be respectful and kind.
Lovely, thanks for reading, Kwang Ming. So you guys know, please make sure to follow these rules throughout the whole duration of class. If you break any of these rules at any point, you will be removed from the class and put into the waiting room, and also you will have to lose your class dojo points. So just starting the lesson, I can see that Tweechy, your camera is switched off, so you need to turn that on. We're 3 minutes into the lesson now, so you must have your camera switched on. Okay, so for homework last night, guys, I asked you to complete your vocabulary sentences. So let's just have a look here. Where is Ocean? We don't have Ocean today? No, Ocean isn't with us today, so I'm going to go ahead and read them out for you guys. So, power. When we exercise, we need lots of power. Power is the energy in our body. Process. Making a car is a long process. Making a computer is a long process. Flexible. My friend has a flexible ruler. I have a flexible ruler. Fraction. A wheel is a fraction of a car, and a motor is a fraction of a car. So Ocean very neatly wrote his sentences down, as you can tell. And his last word was compete. I compete with my sister to do a math quiz. My class plays soccer and competes with class 3E5. So yes, as you can see, Ocean's sentences are very neat. He's written out the word 3 times, he's given his own definition, and then he's given 2 sentences for each word. Now, last night when I checked homework at 9:30, here are the students who did their homework. So I have Sao, Kui Kang, Susie, Mickey, Leo, Mia, Steve, Quang Hai, Ocean, Meng Huang, Kiwi, and Teddy. Now, I don't think that's a lot of students from the class that we have now. I didn't have Emma's or Hannah's or Tui Chi's or Ming Ha's or Quang Ming's. I didn't have Cindy's, and I didn't have Hackers. So there were a lot of homeworks missing from the homework folder last night. So just bear in mind that if you don't upload your homework by 9 p.m., you will be classified as not doing your homework. You must hand in your homework by 9 p.m. because there are a lot of homeworks to mark at 9 p.m. So if you upload them later than that, there won't be a chance for you to get them marked until the next day. Hacker, do you have a question?
My question is, I do it already, but I forgot to take a picture and send it.
So, Hacker, I understand that that's you've done your homework, but without me being able to see it, I can't mark it, and therefore you will be marked down as not doing your homework. So, guys, you have to upload it and take a picture of it and upload it to Google Drive before 9 p.m. If you do your homework and you do it really well and you don't take a picture and you don't upload it, I must mark you down as not handing in your homework. So it's imperative that you hand in your homework on time. Otherwise, you could be punished for not doing it on time. Yes, Hacker.
But my mom forgot.
Sorry, Hacker. Can you speak louder? I can't hear you.
I forgot to send the homework.
I know that you forgot to send it, but because you forgot to send it, you will be penalized as not doing it because I haven't been able to check it or see it. So like I said, you guys know that by 9 p.m. I will go online, I will check all the homework, I'll mark them, and I will display the best ones that I think should be an example of a good homework. And like I said, last night, it was mainly the other class, 49, the other half of 49, that uploaded their homework. There was very few homeworks in this class, which is very disappointing. Yes, Kwang Ming?
I I I sent my homework to you already.
You uploaded it to Google Drive?
Yes.
So what time did you upload it at Google Drive at? Because I can send
9:30 p.m.
Okay, so that's late. So I took this picture at 9:27 p.m. So the deadline is 9 p.m. So we've known that from the very first day that we had online lessons. The deadline is 9 p.m. And the reason the deadline is 9 p.m. is because I now have 4 classes of homework that all upload their homework at 9 p.m. That's a grand total of about 50 students. So I have 50 students' homework to mark, and you have until 9 p.m. So it gives me and Miss Lan a chance to go through each homework and take time marking it. So we're not rushing through your homework. So you must upload it at 9 p.m. Okay, guys, so we only have one homework to show today, and that is oceans. So please make sure that you are uploading your homework before or at 9 p.m. I usually check homework at around 9:15, 9:20. That's the time I usually get to it at. So if you haven't uploaded it by 9 p.m., you will be losing those points. So please bear that in mind. Okay, so let's move on. All right, today is our reading comprehension day. Here we have inventions. Have a look. So we're going to preview the topic. Can you please read this page for me? I choose Leo.
Invention. If you have ever seen a photograph of a football player from long ago, you probably thought his uniform looks very old. Sport equipment has changed over the years. Inventors knows as sport engineers have used new knowledge about the human body, along with new material to design better and safer equipment. In technology wins the game. You read about some of these important inventions in sport advances in sport technology. You also discovered the process that engineers use to help athletes move more quickly and play more safely.
Good job. Lovely reading, Leo. Okay, guys, so have a look here. If you ever look at a photograph of a football player, so an American football player, playing football long ago, you'll notice that the uniform looks a bit strange. So they're not wearing that much protective padding. Nowadays, the shoulder pads of football players come out to about here to protect their shoulders from being damaged when they hit into someone else. You'll also notice that they have usually a cage over their face to help protect their face from damage. And you'll also notice that their helmets are much thicker. So helmets here are made out of leather, which is a soft material. But because there is a job that is called a sports engineer looks at equipment used when playing sports and decides how to make it even better. So a sports engineer looks at sports players or athletes and helps them get new equipment so that when they are playing, they can play more safely. Have a look here. What different sports equipment do you use when playing sports? So I want you guys to have a think about this. Think about the sports that you like to play and think about the equipment that you use. I'll go first. So a type of sports that I love to do here in Vietnam is I like to do something called kickboxing. And so when I do kickboxing, I have to use gloves. So the gloves that are over here, this is the equipment that I use when I do kickboxing. I have to put on padded gloves so I don't hurt my hands when I'm throwing my punches or my hits. So what about you guys? What kind of sports equipment do you use when you play sports? Can you think of any? Sao.
My favorite sport is soccer, and I
Mhm.
need soccer shoes to
Good.
play and a
Good
ball.
job. Well done, Sao. So Sao needs soccer shoes. So soccer shoes are different from normal trainers. Soccer shoes have cleats on the bottom, like spikes, to help grip the grass when you're running around. Good job, Sao. Kwang Ming, what sports equipment do you use when you play sports?
Ride a bicycle.
Very good. And what equipment do you need when you're riding a bicycle?
I need a helmet.
Good job. You need a helmet to keep you nice and safe in case you fall off your bicycle. Good job. Hacker, what sports equipment do you use when you play sports?
I think it's base.
Can you say again, nice and loud for me? Baseball. Okay, so when you play baseball, you need a baseball bat and a ball to go with it. Awesome. Well done. All right, let's have a look, guys. So technology wins the race. The genre is informational text. Can you read about the genre of informational text? Hannah.
Genre informational text gives facts and information about a topic. As you read, look for headings that begin sections of text with related information, photographs, and captions. Graphics such as diagrams that help explain the topic.
Good job. Well done, Hannah. Lovely work. Okay, so informational texts show or give information about a real topic. As you read the story today, look for headings that begin sections of text with related information. So we're going to see headings of each paragraph that tell us what that page is about. We're going to see photographs and captions, and we're also going to see graphics like diagrams that help explain the topic a little bit more. Before we start reading today, I just want to show you this kind of sport. So this sport is a pole vaulter, maybe something that you haven't heard of before. So in this sport, athletes must run. They use a large pole to kind of jump up and push themselves off and over this even higher pole up here. So it's an extremely high jump that these athletes achieve. So this is a pole vaulter because we're going to learn a little bit about that today. All right, so let's take you over to our story today. Technology wins the game. Now, our essential question today is how do inventions help athletes? So as you read the story today, think about the inventions that you're learning about in the story and think about how they really help athletes. Okay, let's have a look. Can you please read the first page for me? Let's go for, let's see, who have I not heard from today? Okay, Mickey, can you read the first page for me?
Almost everyone loves a good game. However, it's not just athletic
ability
or skill that helps sport player win. Many other things can contribute to a winner team or player. One of those things is the use of
technology.
Technology has made our lives easier
our lives
life easily and better in many ways. In sport, technology can help all types of athletes perform better. It's all in the design. If you like sport and science, being energy
Oh.
might.
So let me just stop you there because I forgot there was a little mistake in your book, guys. So if you have your journeys book in front of you, go ahead and fix this. So this should say being an engineer might be the job for you. And also there should be a capital E for this new sentence, engineers. So go ahead, Mickey, and keep reading.
Being an engineer might be the job for you. Engineers are scientists who make sport more fun to play and to watch. The design more better
materials,
material surfaces and equipment. They help keep athletes safe from
injury.
Sport energy has
engineer
has
probably
help improve your favorite sport.
Okay, good girl, Mickey. Thanks for reading. Okay, so here we've learned about sports engineers. A sports engineer is into science and sports, so it could be the perfect job for you if you like sports and science. A sports engineer looks at games and looks at athletes, and they decide how they could make that game or that sport even better for the athletes. So it's their job to design new materials and new surfaces and new equipment to help athletes A, stay safe, and B, perform even better. Let's have a look over here. Can you please read this page for me? I'll choose a boy this time. Let's go for Kwang Ming. The science of sports engineering.
Some sports engineers study the way athletes move when they play different sports. An engineer might watch a soccer player to see how the player's foot strikes the ball. This can lead to ideas about soccer shoes, the soccer ball, or even the soccer field. Engineers use these ideas to improve the game in some way. The first step for a sports engineer is to identify a problem in a sport, something to be improved. Almost anything can be improved. Then the sports engineer comes up with a possible solution. Next, he or she creates a model. The model may include a new kind of material. The new idea is then tested in a laboratory to see how well it works. Finally, the new product is tested by athletes. If it works well, soon athletes around the world will start to use it.
Lovely reading, Kwang Ming. Thank you. And let's just have a look at this flow chart. It says problem, idea for solution, create model, test. What does this diagram help us understand? So we've just read about sports engineers and what they do. An engineer watches the game, so watches the soccer player and looks at how the soccer player kicks the ball. Then this can help them find ideas about how they can improve soccer shoes, the soccer ball, or even the field and the grass that they're running on. Then we learn here the steps or the process for a sports engineer to solve a problem and create new materials. Now have a look at this flow diagram. Problem, idea for solution, create model, and test. How does this diagram help us understand the text better? What is this diagram showing us? How is this graphic diagram helping us? So this diagram is helping us because we've just read the steps it takes for a sports engineer to do their job. Here we've learned about the steps that they take to improve a piece of equipment. And this diagram helps us understand that by putting all of this text into a quick and easy diagram. So this diagram is supporting what we've just learned here. The first thing a sports engineer does is they identify a problem, they come up for an idea for a solution, they create a model, and then they test it in the lab, and then they test it on the athletes to see if their product is good enough. Let's keep reading. Okay, can you please read this page for me, Tui Chi? Tui Chi, are you there?
Look at tennis. This is a sport where sports engineers have made several changes. What's a racket? Tennis rackets have changed a lot. When the sport began, tennis rackets were made out of wood. Then in the
1960s.
1916, a metal racket was developed. Metal rackets were stronger and lighter than wood. Today, rackets are made out of different materials mixed together. Then the old ones.
These rackets
are very light and provide more power than the old ones. The ball moves faster than ever. Today, rackets also have larger head or string area than before. This makes it easier for tennis players to reach more balls. A player can also control the ball better and make it move in different ways.
Okay, good job. Thanks for reading. Okay, so how are tennis rackets different now than they were before? How have sports engineers improved tennis rackets? What is different about tennis rackets than before? So how did tennis rackets used to look? What were they made out of? So I've got Hannah is the only person raising her hand. So really good job, Hannah. The rest of you, the answer is in here. So all you have to do is look for it, listen to the question. How are tennis rackets different now than they were before? How have sports engineers changed tennis rackets? What's different about them? Okay, go ahead, Emma. Emma? So how are tennis rackets different today compared to how they used to be in the past? What did they used to be made out of in the past?
It's made out of wood.
Good girl. So when the sport began, tennis rackets were made out of wood. Now think about wood. Wood is a very heavy material. When we play tennis, we are constantly holding the tennis racket in our hand, swinging it from side to side, using all of our power to hit the ball. So if the tennis racket is made out of wood and it's very heavy, you're going to get very tired very quickly. So sports engineers decided to change the racket. So it used to be made out of wood, and then they made it out of what material? So it used to be made out of wood, then they made it out of what material? I'm going to lower all your hands. Click the raise your hand button to tell me. Okay, Hannah, go ahead.
Then the tennis racket was made out of metal.
Good girl, well done. Then in the 1960s, they developed a metal racket. Now, metal rackets were stronger and lighter than wood, so that's much better than the wood. But today, they've changed again. Tennis rackets are no longer made out of just metal anymore. Now, they're made from mixed materials. So there's some plastic, there's some fiberglass in there. They've also changed rackets by making the head larger. So tennis rackets used to have a smaller head, but sports engineers decided to make the head bigger to help the ball have more space to bounce off it. Okay, let's have a look over here at tennis balls. Can you please read this page for me, Emma? More bounce to the ball.
More bounce to the ball. Tennis balls have come a long way too. The first tennis balls were made of leather or cloth.
So this is leather, which is animal skin. Leather.
What is a leather?
Animal skin. So leather, so let's say, for example, an animal is used for food. So let's say we take a cow and we decide that we want to make it into food. We don't just throw the skin of the cow away. Instead, the skin of the cow is taken and treated, and it's turned into something called leather. So leather is a very strong material that's quite heavy, and often people use them on their shoes, people use them for gloves, people use them for sofas.
Leather or cloth made
Stuffed.
with wool or horsehair. These balls did not bounce very high. In the
1870s, rubber
was first used to make tennis balls. These balls bounced better, but the cloth made covered the ball would fall off. Today, tennis balls are still made of
rubber.
First, two matching half-shell pieces of rubber are joined together. This makes the hollow, round shape of the ball. Second, two pieces of felt are wrapped around the ball. Third, a rubber seam is added to keep the felt cover together. Finally, the balls are put in a can that is under pressure. This helps keep them bouncy. The whole process ensures that each tennis ball bounces exactly the same way. Where the ball bounces is up to the player.
Good job. Thanks for reading, Emma. Okay, so there we've learned about how tennis rackets have changed and how tennis balls have changed. So tennis balls used to be made out of leather or cloth, stuffed with wool or horsehair. So you can imagine a ball that has been stuffed with wool and tied with animal skin, that's not going to bounce very high. So in the 1870s, rubber was used to make tennis balls. Nowadays, tennis balls are still made of rubber. And if we look at this diagram, it helps us understand how tennis balls are made. We take the two half pieces that look like a shell, keeping the ball hollow or empty on the inside. Then we take felt and we wrap it around the ball. Then we stitch the seam in to keep all of the felt together. And then the balls are put in a can that is under pressure so that the bounciness stays intact. And that's how we make very bouncy tennis balls today. Okay, turn over the page. Higher and faster. Okay, Hannah, go ahead. You really want to read, so please read this page for me.
Higher and faster. Sports engineers help athletes perform in just about every sport. Track and field athletes run, jump, and throw. Sports engineers help these athletes run faster, jump higher, and throw farther. They design new and better track and field equipment, surfaces, and clothing. Jump higher. Have you ever watched a pole vaulter at the Olympics? A good pole vaulter must have speed, strength, and the right pole. The pole must be flexible and strong enough to bend and lift the vaulter over the bar. Poles used to be made of wood. These were very stiff and heavy. Later, poles were made of more flexible bamboo. Then engineers designed poles made of
Aluminium. So this word is aluminium.
Aluminium.
Good girl.
Today, poles are made of
Fiberglass.
fiberglass and are very light. They bend easily. The more the pole bends, the farther the vaulter sails through the air.
Good girl. Lovely reading, Hannah. So this is a pole vaulter. That was the short video clip I showed you earlier where the athlete runs and jumps and uses a pole to jump over another very long bar. Very high bar. So sports engineers have helped pole vaulters as well. It says here that pole vaulters used to use poles made of wood. Now, why would a pole made of wood be more difficult to use than a pole made of fiberglass? So fiberglass is a very light plastic material that bends easily but is also very strong. It's not like glass that shatters. Fiberglass is like a type of plastic. So who can tell me why would it be more difficult to use a wooden pole as opposed to a plastic pole like we use now? What do you think? Think about the material wood and think about what you're trying to achieve. Cindy, what do you think?
I think it's the fiberglass.
Fiberglass?
Is a fiberglass is more easily manly than the wood because the fiberglass can be flexible. So yeah, but the wood is where it only have one shape. So I think the fiberglass are more easily to use more than the wood.
Good girl, well done. Exactly. So the fiberglass is lighter. It's also more flexible. So I'll just take you back to the PowerPoint and show you once again what that looks like. So imagine trying to do this with a wooden pole. Look how much this pole bends. When the pole bends, this man is able to jump up and throw himself over that other pole. Imagine doing this with a wooden pole. Wood does not bend. It's not flexible. It's stiff, it's heavy, and it's strong. So by using this new fiberglass pole, we're able to lift ourselves off and kind of eject ourselves into the air and over this pole. But with a wooden pole, you wouldn't be able to get up so high or get that bend of flexibility to push you up even further. So as you can see, sports engineers work very hard to make sure the equipment that they create really helps the athletes perform better and perform their skills a lot better. Okay, so let me just stop sharing the screen and go back to the story. Okay, so we are to do is actually, I'm going to stop us there because we only have 3 minutes left and over half the story. So what I'm going to do is we're going to read the rest of the story tomorrow because there's there are a lot of words and paragraphs in this story and also a lot of difficult terminology. So I want to make sure that we go through it slowly so that we all understand. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to stop us here and tomorrow we'll pick up on page 409. And instead of doing our 10 comprehension questions worksheet, I'm going to give you a different homework for today, and that will be your homework for tomorrow. So for homework today, actually, I'd like you to do a bit of research. So what I'd like you to do is find one piece of sports equipment and research how it has improved over the past. So guys, for homework, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think or find one piece of sports equipment and research about how it has improved over the past. So for example, if your favorite sport is soccer, maybe you would like to choose soccer shoes. So then I would like you to go onto Google, go onto YouTube and find out how soccer shoes have improved over the past. You can tell me, in 1860, the first soccer shoe was made. It was made out of leather and it didn't have any spikes. Then, in the next 20 years, a scientist or a sports engineer decided to add cleats and spikes to the bottom. So I want you guys to find one piece of sports equipment, whatever it may be. It can be a helmet, it can be soccer shoes, it can be boxing gloves, it can be whatever you want. And I want you to do some research and write a paragraph to explain to me how it has improved over the past. Do I have any questions about your homework? So please click the raise your hand button if you have any questions about the homework. So I want you to find one piece of sports equipment, whatever you want, and research how it has improved over the past. Do I have any questions about your homework? Okay, Caroline, can you please explain to the class what our homework is and what you have to do?
Our homework is find one piece of sport equipment and research how it's improved over the past.
Okay, good girl. Thank you, Caroline. Okay, guys, so since there are no more questions, I'm going to stop the lesson there. So please make sure that you hand your homework in by what time?
9 p.m.
Good job. 9 p.m. Please hand your homework in before or just at 9 p.m. to give me and Miss Lan a chance to go through each one and mark it thoroughly and carefully. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for part 2 of our reading comprehension. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.